Hello, this is Barb with Just Be Stamping Paper Crafts from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, and I'm glad you're here. Today I am hopping with the Night Angels Global Video Hop, a group of independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrators from around the world, and this month we are sharing projects from the new mini catalog. My project is this bright and colorful Funfold card showcasing the DSP from the Rock Roll Suite collection. Let's get started. This collection, found on page 55 of the January to April 2024 mini catalog, includes stamps, dies, paper, and embellishments, but the card I made for you today just uses the paper. All of the products and measurements for my project are in the video description below for you. All of the papers in the collection are black and white, so it's easy to add color to match your project. To begin, I die cut 3 pieces of watercolor paper and 1 piece of white cardstock with the Perennial Postage dies. I used my water brush and ink pads to add a wash background to each of the watercolor pieces using Granny Apple Green, Real Red, and Azure Afternoon inks, and cleaning my painter in between colors. Once dry, I splattered black alcohol ink on top of each for some texture and then set them aside. Earlier, I had loosely cut 3 of the guitar images from the DSP and glued them onto white cardstock. Here I am coloring each of the guitars with my blends markers, adding shadow with the darker blends. Once colored, I fussy cut each of the guitars to create the look of die cuts. Next, I layered my watercolored pieces onto matching rectangles of colored cardstock. The watercolor paper does warp a little bit, so use a nice amount of glue and some extra pressure to ensure it sticks to the cardstock and is flat. I chose the blue to be my focal image, and to that piece I wrapped some black and white twine for my stash tied in a bow. Then to each of the other 2 pieces, I glued the matching colored guitar in various positions on the cardstock panel. And for the blue piece, which is my front part, I popped the guitar up on dimensionals, just add some extra dimension to the front of the card. To create my card base, I cut a piece of the Rock Roll DSP to 5 1/4 inches by 12 inches long, and then on the long side I scored at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches. I burnished each of the score marks in a mountain, valley, mountain pattern, and then I added glue to the first and third sections and folded it back together, and this creates the 2 flaps for my card base. I added the folded DSP to a layer of Daffodil Delight cardstock that is 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, so the final project is a standard A2 card size that fits in a regular envelope. I layered my Postage die cut white cardstock piece onto a Daffodil Delight panel to provide a place to write a message for the recipient. I also splattered it with black alcohol ink for a consistently grungy look. Starting at the back of my card base, I layered the red panel directly onto the DSP in the top right corner, checking that it is just nicely visible when the card was closed. Then I flipped over the inside flap and added the green panel. Make sure to only put glue on the left side of your green panel and to place it so that you can still see the red panel behind. Finally, I added the blue panel to the front of my card with dimensionals, again only on the far left side, and positioned so that you can see both of the interior panels behind it. I added the interior message panel to the back of the green panel so that it is completely hidden when the card is closed. Previously, I had heat embossed my sentiment from the Heartfelt Hellos Celebration set in white on black cardstock and added a layer of red cardstock behind it. This I added to the front of my card with dimensionals, again only on the far left so that the flap will still open. And finally, I had some really old candy dot embellishments in my stash that I added to the card in blue, red, and yellow. The best part of Stampin' Up! Products for me is the color coordination, and I know that I'll always have something that matches my project, even if it is from years and years ago. And that is my finished project. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. Again, all of the measurements and products I used are listed in the description below, as well as the links to visit the rest of the Night Angels and see what projects they have for you this month. Happy crafting!